Welcome to the special meeting of the Biloxi City Council. Do I have a motion to amend the agenda? Motion by Mr. Lawrence, second by Mr. Gines. All in favor? That's what Lucy said. Right? Gines.
Why are we amending the agenda?
She will read the amendments here in a minute.
To our policy agenda, we're substituting the attachment sheets for Resolution 4A concerning the budget.
All right, do we have discussion? Could you repeat that, Ms. Lucy?
We're substituting the attachment sheets to the resolution on the budget.
Bottom line.
Did we get those attachments? I got so much stuff here.
That's all.
I just have to ask him to read this in a minute. It's all about this thing right here.
Okay, that's fine.
Do I have any discussion?
No.
All in favor of the amendments? Unanimous vote?
Who moved and seconded?
Lawrence and Gines.
George.
And Deming is opposed. Okay, we'll move on to mayor's report.
No report,
No report.
except for what Mike wants to say.
I just would like to read in the minutes, and the council clerk has a copy of the fiscal year 2020 budget highlights. It's a one-page sheet that I'd like to have read in the minutes.
Okay.
That too. Yeah.
Is this all Candy's?
Any departmental reports?
Not-
Move on to council reports. Report, Deming? Tisdale?
Had a very good Ward 5 meeting last night. Appreciate Mr. Leonard appearing, and we didn't need a legal opinion, so Mr. Abad didn't need to be there. We had about between 45 and 50 people there. Appreciate Jerry Creel, Mary Williams, who is in for Christy Labatard, and who else? Mr. I guess Inspector Detective Moran, whatever, with the NOLA cameras, and Major Lessner, who's always a barrel of laughs. So I appreciate everybody who took the time to come out and hear what was said and what was discussed about the issues in Ward 5. Thank you.
Okay, I have no report, so we'll move on to the public agenda. Right? Citizen comments, we have 45 minutes allotted. Each citizen gets 3 minutes to speak. So when you reach the desk, please state your name out loud and your address for the record, as well as write it down. Anyone on my left-hand side, your right, would like to come speak? Anyone at all? Anyone on my right, your left, that would like to come speak?
That was the only change.
Good evening. I'm Sarah Rusky from the Harrison County Library System, and my address is 980 Courthouse Road, Gulfport. And I just wanted to take just a moment, and I appreciate your time very much, to reiterate that if you are able in this budget or in the future in your planning process to grant our request for funding for computers, it would help our Biloxi libraries remain able to provide services to the citizens of Biloxi. As you know, we sent a follow-up letter from the previous budget hearings reiterating our need, and also noting, I'm not sure that it was clear in our previous presentation, that of the $12,000 you are granting us, for which we are very grateful, approximately $7,500 of that is going towards the PERS increase. So that only leaves about $5,000 left for our computer project, and that will not purchase very many machines, as you can imagine. The base price is about $752 per machine. So we just hope that you might be able to help us out with this request. And again, we appreciate what you are able to give us, and we hope that we'll be able to improve our services by replacing these almost 10-year-old machines to keep our libraries functioning. Again, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else on my right, your left, that would like to come speak? If not, citizen comments are now closed. We'll move on to the policy agenda.
Wait, you got a citizen back here.
You do? Okay, come on. Yes, sir.
Hello, City Council, Mayor Fofo. Thank you all for your time.
Please state your name and address for the record, babe.
My name is John Stratton. I live right out there. There's some of us that want to work, and we're trying to get jobs, and if there's any city jobs, like wintertime is really hard to work. There's nothing. If there's any city jobs that people don't want to do, some of us want to work, and I can help find out the guys out there that are willing to work, and we just want to work. That's it. And I don't want to be a strain on any taxpayers. I don't want to go to jail anymore for sleeping on property. I just want to get on my feet, and I want to help other people get on their feet. And if anybody has any advice or any comments, please help me out. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Okay, we'll close citizen comments now. Moving to the policy agenda, Ms. Lucy.
Resolution to adopt the fiscal year 2019-20 municipal budget.
Okay, so it was previously moved by Mr. Glavin and Mr. Guines. Mr. Glavin is not here. Mr. Guines, anything you would like to say? Any questions, comments? You have nothing? Nothing. All right. So I'll start with Mr. Barrett. Mr. Tisdale.
Yeah, question. I just noticed this. I appreciate you emailing us the documents, Mike, to look at yesterday. On the statement of all revenues, on line 15, it says homestead reimbursement. It's listed at 48,000, and in previous documents, it had been listed at 388,000. Okay. Okay. And also on that same document, and I'm assuming that this says Harrison County ad valorem. I'm assuming it was previously at 512,000. Now it's that figure is 2 million, and I'm assuming that's what the mill generates. That's the Port and Harbor mill from the. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Deming? Mr. Guines? You already, okay. Mr. Lawrence, how about it?
On this one, he was talking about the mill. You said that the 1 mill, that's $2 million coming in.
1.5,
Yeah, the mill 5, the other 500,000 goes to the bond.
right.
1.5 goes into the port. And he said, I was trying to figure out what he said it was listed at on here, the 2 million,
What's that, sir?
on one of these sheets.
In the capital project? Yeah, it's the first number on the port column, the 2,012,800.
So it's on this sheet you're talking about.
Well, it's on this sheet.
Combined fund statement, column 17,
All right.
row 5, 2,012,800. That's the revenue from the 9 million. You see the same exact number further down, in about line 44, 2,022,544. It showed it as an expense.
You said 44, that's $1.8 million. What is that? And the budget is 2.2 million?
Essentially, what's happening is we're showing, we didn't show you this last time you asked about it, Councilman, so we put it on here. Doesn't make any impact on the bottom line of the general fund. It shows that additional millage coming to us in the Port Enterprise Fund, then it shows it leaving the Port Enterprise Fund and going to the capital project fund. So it doesn't have any effect on the general fund, but it is there, but it's, as you pointed out, appropriate for us to have it in the budget.
So if we don't do anything like upgrade the harbors, then we can use that money there. In our harbors or whatever. Right, okay. And I see where you put the insurance thing back there. I'm glad you did that, because we self-insure. We have a committee that handles that, and it should be listed. The number of -5 to 100,000, that's probably, we'll have to see if that works out to be that, or be less than that. I think,
And on a quarterly basis to keep that, in tow. That's what I think our position is, that we'll look at it, and we're encouraging our employees to take advantage. I think Councilman Tisdale, we talked about 40% of the people are taking advantage of, the 60% who are not, doing the things that we already allocated with some of the systems. So we're going to encourage that and work that number.
yeah, I think that's going to work out,
Yeah.
I think I talked to Mike yesterday. He said, probably looked like it's going to be maybe 140,000, 141,000 off, not to 500,000, which is good. It won't be as bad as we thought it was, but it's something we still have to look at to make sure we keep it even, because it's a rich plan for our employees, and we're trying to keep the best we can. And I think if they all get involved in this thing with the new health they do, it's going to help. And they got to realize this plan can only work if they help us do it, all the employees. And I think y'all are doing all that now with the enrollment and stuff like that. Another one is, I was talking to Ken, and this 25,000, I told him with maintenance needs to be listed under the baseball. That is strictly 25,000 for maintenance under the baseball. It had nothing to do with trust and agency. That 25,000, we give 25, and the team gives 25, and that's maintenance strictly for the stadium itself. So it has nothing to do with anything else other than the baseball. So it has to be listed under the baseball. The baseball is a separate entity of the city. All the rest of these things we do, those are part of the city. This is not a normal city function.
Yeah, Mr. Joe, that is, it's got its own separate fund. It's called the Baseball Stadium Capital Maintenance Fund. It is combined, it is listed over there in that trust and agency, only because that was the way that it was set up. That was the classification that they gave it. This past year we've used it a lot, but in years past it was just sitting there building money, and we put money towards it, and the baseball team puts money towards it. But it was set up originally as a trust account, not an agency, trust account. And so they call on that trust to do capital maintenance, and you have to transfer monies out to do that maintenance. So
Yeah, but I mean, you don't even have it listed under
The actual title of the fund is the Capital Maintenance Restricted Fund.
exactly.
Which means the monies can only be used for capital maintenance.
Exactly.
I said you don't even have it listed under the baseball at all.
Well, it
It
is.
should be listed under the baseball. That's separate from
It
everything else
is.
we do.
It's just combined. We have some agency funds like the school taxes that the money flows through. It's combined with that because trust and agency as a group, it is a trust fund, but it's combined with these agency funds because that's just a category. And so you got the school tax money in that, and it's just in that category, and it's combined all together on our combining fund statement. Because we have maybe 40 funds all together, but they combine up to different categories. And
Maybe I'm just not getting this straight to you. That has nothing to do with the city. All the other stuff is dealing with the city. Those
I
are
got you.
city's function.
I got you.
This baseball is separate completely
I got-
outside. It sits outside the city.
I got
It's
you.
not a normal routine thing of the
No,
city.
it's not, and I agree with that.
So that money should actually stay under the baseball, and probably everything else under the baseball should be under the baseball stadium. But that's the only thing we have that's just like that.
We actually have two different funds. One is the one where we show the ticket sales revenue and the rent monies that we get from the baseball stadium and that's in like a special revenue account. But this one that takes care of the capital maintenance is actually in the trust category. And so, they're two separate funds. One's the baseball revenues that we get from the baseball stadium, and then you have the capital maintenance one. So They're
No,
separate.
You know,
They're
we
separate.
understand where you're going, Councilman. What you're really looking for is a picture that shows exactly everything that's coming and going with regards to MGM Park, whether it be debt service, base sale of tickets, the rent, tax, sales tax coming back, rebate coming to us. I think we could pull those together on a single sheet of paper for you at some time and do a report to council, but this particular sheet, it doesn't really reflect everything that's going on with regards to baseball, because obviously the big kahuna that's not showing up is the debt service.
Yes, and that debt service, it shows up in the debt service funds column. That's where the debt is. So really, when you consider it all together, you're dealing with 3 different funds for that baseball stadium. One is the debt service, which goes through the debt service fund because it's a GO bond. And then you have this capital maintenance trust account, and then you have the baseball stadium operations account. So that's 3 different funds where money for the baseball stadium flows, or expense flows.
That's what I said, but all it to me should be listed strictly on there. Even the debt, the $1.6 million we pay for the note should be listed on there, because this is just not a normal operation of the city.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, and, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, the numbers are all there. You just can't pick them out of this sheet. But I think we could do an annual report that shows, here's the outcome of the last fiscal year in the baseball fund. Here's where we are on debt service. Here's where we are, and so forth and so on.
I mean, everything we did was totally different to see if it'd work, help downtown Biloxi, help everybody. I mean, it's just something we took a shot with, but it's not a normal function of the city. That's my main point.
Yeah, and I got that point. I do understand that.
And I was just looking at some of these sheets. I don't know if y'all have any questions on the projects. So these have been the same projects have been listed.
Except that 1.5 is now on there. The 1.5, it's just in a holding account until it's appropriated. It's now on there at the last one.
Right.
Yeah, it's the Port Millage. The last project is 1.5. It's on there. That's it.
For the record, the ending cash balance only changed by $20,000 since you last saw this fund, and that $20,000 was $20,000 we put into non-department for the Kroc Center. That's the only change to the total bottom line.
What was that, 20,000 for what?
$20,000 for the Kroc Center.
Oh, that's the one that Felix, that was what you suggested on the Kroc Center?
Oh, yeah, yes, that way we can,
Explain to him.
Yep. So if you still had your combined fund statement from 2 weeks ago or a week ago,
Yeah, I do.
the bottom line would have been $4,204,118. It's now $4,104,118. $20,000 difference.
So on that, what does that get us at the Kroc Center as far as residents?
that gives us about 200, almost right at 200 individuals, 200 kids in the community. And that's a substantial number.
Do they have to live a certain area or just be a
We're
resident?
asking that we want the kids that live in the immediate area first. If they live in the east side of Biloxi, because we don't have really the recreation. So we're talking about I-110 back.
Have you been to Woolmarket?
We'll send 1 or 2.
Have you seen our recreation out there?
Just one or 2 we'll take.
All right, that's all.
One other question, Ken, on the top part on line 9, coming across to the general fund, you got 6.4 million. It just says others. So where did that 6.4 million come from? What is others? I like to have another 6.4 million.
Yeah,
account.
that's a number of different accounts, but probably the largest one sum part of it is the administrative fee is lumped in there. But it's a number of different accounts, Mr. George. that combine up and go in that category. But the admin fee is probably 1.4 million of that, or something like that. So,
And the board pays about 200,000. I think we've discussed this before. These enterprise funds have to pay to the general fund for the support they get from the city staff. That's just part of being an enterprise fund. The enterprise fund, the Port Enterprise Fund, for example, doesn't have any attorneys. So when they need legal service, we provide it from the general fund. They don't have accounting services. We provide that from the general fund, and so forth. And the way that they pay back is that there is a formula that's established that our auditors have looked at over the years that shows as a percentage of revenue what they pay for those services. And that's money from those funds back to the general fund. So
Does the port and water and sewer owe the city any money?
Not now. Well, if there is, it's really old,
well, yeah.
from at least
water
4 years
sewer-
ago.
The water sewer did owe a balance, but in this budget, it is paying that money's back. The total amount is being paid back.
Which
The
is,
remainder,
yeah,
400,
something thousand.
456,935. It's this number down here on line 53, under the general fund column. That's the water and sewer amount that it owes the general fund.
All right. And the last thing, did y'all get my chart straight? Y'all working that out? Gonna make it right? Okay. If you're not, we're not gonna do anything until we get that done right. Go back to what it was before, and we have to do, because you got a couple things on there that don't even exist, that we never supported. So, I mean, you gotta make sure that's right, because this council has to put these things in place. I mean, that's the way it is. You suggest it, and we deal with you. That's how we work together. The mayor and, yeah, so, all right. Thank you.
Nothing that I haven't already said. It hasn't been resolved. No comments, John.
Is there anyone else that would be willing to adhere to the library's request?
Well, I would love to see that figure increased, but here we are at the 11th hour, and I don't know that we're able to do that. I don't know if at this point to move forward. I mean, we're here to approve the
6
budget.
months. Check everything in 6 months.
That's right.
See where we at.
We've been through a
Can she
number
come
of
up, please?
We've been through a number of workshops, and I know when we talked about the Coast Transit Authority, we said we'd look at that in 6 months, and I think that's a good suggestion. I think it'd be nice to take a look at the library again in 6 months.
Well, I do know
Just see
that
what we can
last
do.
year we discussed about her needing more computers, and that we told her we would give her however much to do so every year, and then we took that back this year. So are you going to be okay in 6 months for us to review and where we're sitting at?
I'd love that. That would be excellent.
So you'd be okay with that?
I would be okay with that, but if we don't make progress, we will be very much in the hole for, the twilight for the Windows 7 is this year. We've bought 16 computers so far. We can buy like 6-ish, and you have over 50 computers in your library, so that tells you where we'll be stuck. So it would be wonderful if y'all could review it and help us reach that goal later on
So
in
you're
the year.
asking for about 20,000 more, correct?
Yeah.
So is there anyone that's willing to give 20,000 more to the library right now? No one else? Okay. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Yeah, much
You
as
in
I would,
6 months?
much as I would love to, but I think it's prudent to do is what Mr. Lawrence said, and that is just see where we are. We're pretty, and the reason I say that is we're.
Make sure to reach out to us in 6 months.
Exactly, but we've gotten really good at projecting our revenue, and I don't know that we're going to get much more revenue than this, but if we do, we would see some sort of trend or have some indication 6 months from now. That's why 6 months would be a good time to look at this again. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Mr. Leonard had mentioned that he was going to spread the summary sheet in the mayor's report. Did he state that in the meeting?
Yep.
He did? Okay.
Let's call for the question then, I guess. Let's call for the question.
All right. No other discussion. Call for the question. All in favor? 5-1.
I move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Felix.
Oh, that's George.
Oh, sorry. George, and then seconded by
Lawrence
Felix.
and
All in
Gaines.
favor?
My bound. Lawrence and Gaines. Lawrence Gaines.
Lawrence, guys. Meeting adjourned.